Hello everyone, welcome to this video about the use of probably the most common modal of all, can, and the expression be able to. First, let's remember that can and could are probably the two first modals that you learn in English, or at least they are very common. Some people might say that could is the past of can, but is that really true? Is could the past tense of can? Well, the answer is yes and no. Sometimes you can use it as the past tense, but no. So why is this such an important topic, and why is there some confusion? Well, first of all, because can is a very common verb. In any language, the idea that can wants to express is very common, and you will very probably want to use can in different tenses, just as any other verb: present, past, participle. And yes, it's true, in present tense you simply say she can play the guitar, simple present, no problem. Affirmative, you can also express the negative form, she can't play the guitar, not a problem. The things start getting interesting when you want to use the past tense. So let's turn this sentence into the past. She could play the guitar. Now, is that really the past tense? Well, we'll see in a moment, and the answer, well, is yes, but no, and in a moment I'll explain why. But before that, let me tell you about the two other most common tenses. Future. So how do you express the future of can? And believe it or not, one of the most common mistakes I hear from students that are still learning the language is she will can, or he will can, or I will can. No, that's not correct. It doesn't exist. So I'm just crossing it out right now to avoid misunderstandings. You never say this. This is not the way to express the future of can. Never, ever. And a similar problem happens with the present perfect. Sometimes you know that present perfect is have plus the participle, so you will think, well, the present perfect of can is have plus can or could. Not at all. Not at all. If you want to express can in present perfect, there's a whole different expression that you will need to use, and we will see in a moment. But let's start with the past tense of can. So can you really say, okay, she can play the guitar now, but in the past she could play the guitar when she was a little girl? Is that the past tense? Well, in this case, yes, because as you notice, I added when she was a little girl. That helps us to verify or to make sure that this context in this sentence is in the past. She could play the guitar when she was a little girl. Maybe she still plays the guitar, maybe she doesn't, but she could play it when she was a little girl. So yes, you could say that in this case it's the past tense. But why is this tricky? Because I could also have added a different thing. I could have said she could play the guitar if you asked her to. So in that case, that's not really the past tense of can. In that case, could is more of a polite way to express. It's a polite sentence. If someone wants to know, like, hey, she plays the guitar, do you think she would play? You can say, well, she could if you asked. So as you can see, this is just a polite way, not really a past tense. It's a hypothetical situation. It's like a condition. So as you can see, if you only say she could play the guitar and that's all you say, we're still not really sure if that's the past tense or not. You will need more information and more context to decide whether you are really speaking in the past or you're presenting a hypothetical or polite situation. So what should you do instead to avoid this situation? My recommendation: use able to. She was able to play the guitar when she was a little girl. The use of the expression be able to, conjugated of course, really helps us know that you're speaking in the past in this case. So what about the negative form? Well, there's also a trick there. She can play the guitar now. So she couldn't play the guitar when she was a little girl. Same case, if we have a bit of context, when she was a little girl, alright, this is negative past. She couldn't play the guitar when she was a little girl. It's a sentence in the past tense. That's true. We have the context to understand that that's the case. Now, what about using the negative form for a hypothetical situation or a polite situation? She couldn't play the guitar if you ask her to. That doesn't work. If you want to say that she wouldn't like to play the guitar, even if you ask, my recommendation, use wouldn't. She wouldn't play the guitar if you ask her to, or even if you ask her to. That's much better. And what about able to? Well, able to, as usual, is our best option. She wasn't able to play the guitar. when she was a little girl. That's clearly past tense, no confusion there. So once again, affirmative, negative. If you're speaking in past, better go with able to. So what about the other tenses? Well, quick recap. Be able to is my recommendation for the past tense. Examples: I was able to hold my breath for 1 full minute when I was a baby. There you go. Past tense, no questions, no confusion. I was able to is very clear about that. I wasn't able to ride a bike when I was a baby, right? However, when I turned, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, then I was able to ride a bike. Like in the following example, they were able to ride bikes when they were kids. It's all past tense using able to, no confusion there. Now, what about the future? Well, definitely you don't say I will, can, or something like that. That's just wrong. Go with able to. I will be able to speak Mandarin in 5 years, because it's a difficult language, but it's amazing. So you can say I will be able to speak Mandarin in 5 years. Future, we can, much better. You can also use the negative form. I won't be able to attend the meeting, which is a negative. Future, using will, and be able instead of will, can, which doesn't go together. They don't go together. We will be able to celebrate after the meeting or after work, whatever. That's a good use of be able to for the future. Affirmative, negative, doesn't matter, it works. What about the present perfect? Well, as I stated before, you cannot combine have and can and then maybe a participle, or no, that doesn't work in English. Go with able to, of course, remembering that if you're using present perfect, then you need to use been, all right? I have been able to work from home since 2017. Or I haven't been able, notice the use of been because it's participle, it's present perfect. I haven't been able to work out since March. Why? Because of the quarantine? Because of the pandemic? Sure. So as a summary, remember, in present, you can use can. I can ride a bike, or negative form, I can't ride a bike. It's not a problem. But if you want to express the verb can in the past, it's better that you use the expression be able to. For example, I was able to ride a bike when I was a child. I will be able to ride a bike in a few days. Or in present perfect, I have been able to ride a bike since I was 7. Well, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, practice makes perfect.